In the previous module, we defined tokens as representations of value and introduced how tokens can be used to decentralize and democratize trust and authenticity in digital interchange. This module will address several issues that must be cleared up in order to fully appreciate the value of digital tokens in helping to make the world a better place. The first is a widely and deeply ingrained misconception that all tokens are cryptocurrencies. Understanding the genesis of this perception helps make it clear that cryptocurrency is just one form of use case that can be addressed by tokens. Oxford defines cryptocurrency as a digital currency in which encryption techniques are used to regulate the generation of units of currency and verify the transfer of funds. Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency, and it is also a type of token because each Bitcoin represents something of intrinsic value. If Bitcoin had never left the realm of technologists, there would be no misconception to address, but highly publicized financial successes made Bitcoin a household word and set this alignment of tokens with cryptocurrencies in motion. The Bitcoin model is based on an intended scarcity of tokens, under the expectation that once trust was established in the Bitcoin network, that scarcity would drive the value of Bitcoins higher. The Bitcoin network minted thousands of new millionaires and a few billionaires nearly overnight. To put this in perspective, we celebrate Bitcoin Pizza Day, the annual commemoration of May 22, 2010, when a crypto enthusiast paid 10,000 Bitcoin for 2 Papa John's pizzas. Worth $28 at the time, that amount of Bitcoin was valued at $97 million US on the 2020 10-year anniversary. 7 years after the introduction of Bitcoin, the Ethereum network launched with a new class of token, Ether, that was also a cryptocurrency. Unlike Bitcoin, the behavior of Ether was programmable via what are called multi-party smart contracts. Again, fortunes were made once trust in the Ethereum network took hold and the value of Ether rose. The concept of easy money to be made from cryptocurrencies launched what has come to be known as initial coin offering, or ICO, mania. Because Ethereum supports the writing of arbitrary smart contracts, a number of enthusiasts began creating contracts representing new digital assets, Ethereum-based cryptocurrency tokens that represented either equality in a startup creating some new product or platform, or fuel required to consume a new service being offered. In some cases, the token issuers had sound motives, but others were simply looking to make fortunes based on the money that was pouring into the market. The sometimes frantic financial speculation and lack of regulatory oversight very quickly led to a massive shakeup and, just like the dot-com bust of the late 90s and early 2000s, many companies went under. But ICOs further cemented identification of tokens with cryptocurrencies. The other topic to address here is the technology underneath these cryptocurrency networks. Both Bitcoin and Ethereum are powered by what is generally referred to as blockchain or distributed ledger technology, depending on who you talk to. The high energy around Bitcoin, Ethereum, and ICOs drove waves of technologists to bring to market different, or better, distributed ledger platforms. What has been left in the wake of all this energy, however, is a diverse and wide selection of distributed ledger choices, each of them differentiating themselves on technical underpinnings and evolving new economic models. And in the enterprise universe, sets of independent consortia organized around their own economic models and develop their own diversity of platforms. For the purposes of this series, we don't need to dive into the details of what makes blockchains or distributed ledgers tick. What is important is that this technology illustrated the possibility of shifting from a transactional model where individual parties manage trust and authenticity to a new model that decentralizes the management of trust and uses a cryptographically secured means of establishing authenticity. Although many tokens will run on distributed ledgers, it's not necessary to make platform part of the token discussion. We must take a much larger, more ambitious view of how organizations can use tokens to work better together. Whether or not the tokens eventually reside on a blockchain or distributed ledger is irrelevant. This is a cursory treatment of what is a more complicated and nuanced subject, but what is clear is that, despite all the hype around blockchain, the business value around that hype has not fully materialized after more than 10 years of market presence. The focus on building technology platforms splintered the market and turned distributed ledgers into a very fragmented technology, with interworking between the fragments impossible. What everyone seems to have overlooked is that the concept of a cryptographically trusted and authenticated token is really what can revolutionize the world. It's time to redraw the focus on tokens into a more business-oriented light. In the next module of this series, we'll begin to show how the InterWork Alliance is reshaping the discussion around digital tokens to one focused on using them as a worldwide means of interchange for any use case.